Hey guys, EliGE's here. I'm going to be doing my first impressions of the new map Ancient that Valve just put into the active duty map pool. And just to start off with, I kind of just wanted to say that I'm very glad that Valve is doing something with the map pool in general. I think it's been a little stale recently in the CS meta where there's only been a very minuscule amount of things to learn. So I think it's really cool, even though it's not going to be perfect. So let's get right into it. This is the map overview with a bunch of the callouts that I thought of just while I was playing. And I think that it'll just like help get things a little bit more standardized in the beginning when people are talking about certain spots. Of course, anything's going to be open to changes, and I'm sure Valve is going to be making a lot of changes. Um, but there's just so many different like cubbies and areas. And as I go through the map, you're going to be hearing me talk about it. But you can use this, save this. I'll have a little picture that I'll put on Twitter, and that you guys can just use if you choose to. So let's get straight into this map. You start off here in CT spawn, and then you have two pathways into A. You have one with this little bend here, and you have this other temple area where you come into the site, and you have a couple different angles that you'll be able to use if they're going to be coming out on you. And from this little bend here, you're going to be able to look at the whole entire cross. There's a headshot angle here. You can play at any of these little cubbies or corners. This is an overview of A site, and as you can see, there's a lot of different spots that you can be playing in. You have this spot here, which is boostable. You can get onto this spot. You can hide at this box here. You can play on top of this platform. You can play in the temple at any angle here. I think there's a lot of different options that you have. And there's going to be a lot of crossfires, things that you can do to play off your teammates. And if we just look at A main as a whole, and just from my testing in the 2MM games that I played, I believe that you can beat the T's to this A main area. So you'll be able to make it to any of these little spots here. A lot of cubbies. It's going to be very difficult to clear all of these angles, in my opinion. And the T perspective of it is just this little staircase. So you'll probably have to like use your molly and molly out different portions and work it very slowly. Moving on from A, this is the connector portion to middle, which you can beat the T's to mid from this direction. And this is kind of just like a circle or tunnels, something, that type of name for that area. And this is the overview of middle. So you have a little cubby here. You have a little jump up to get to B in the hallway. And you have this elbow area here, which I think should just be called elbow. And the timing works, so the CTs are going to beat the Ts to mid every single time. So it kind of just reminds me of Cash in a way, where mid is going to be very important, and you're going to have to work the sides of the map kind of slowly. I wanted to show this other way into mid, which is the fastest way into mid. You just go from CT spawn, you go through this house, as Valve has named it, and it is the quickest way into mid. But you can go from the A connector portion as well. I think this is probably going to be the quickest way that most people are going to go to mid from. Moving on, this is the B portion of the map after you get out of house. There's this cubby here whenever you're going to be rotating in. This back halls, I think it should be called. This square area in B. And a little cubby by these half stairs. And then this is the plant site. Only in this light blue area you can plant the bomb. So I think that you'll probably have to plant like this as a T, or you'll plant, for the square if you push up. You have this little cubby here that is completely spammable. If you get a gun, you can completely shoot through this. So you probably won't see many people playing here after a little bit. And then you have this ramp area, or I'm not sure exactly what to call it, but you can actually beat the T's here if you just throw a molly, and you'll just beat them there because they won't be able to run through this, and you'll have some type of control. Maybe you smoke off the doors. I think you can do stuff like that. And also you have this cave portion of the map where there's another cubby, and then it goes into this area over here, this lane, which has another cubby and that cubby that we saw before. So there's just a million cubbies on this map. It's actually kind of crazy. And this is going to be very important for mid as well, because any player that starts B, maybe you start 2-2-1 and you have two guys towards B, and one of them comes over here two are controlling mid, and then you have one guy solo A, and he's just controlling that portion of the map. So I think that it's going to be very difficult just right off the bat for the T's to be getting any control on this map. From the timings, they won't be able to take mid control that easily because the CTs make it before them. They also make it to A before them. The only timing that I saw that they can beat them at is they can get through this doorway quicker. So it will beat any CT running through here. And the CT will also like just beat them here as well. So I think it's just going to be very difficult in a lot of ways for the T's to get map control. And I think that you're just going to have to find some methodical ways to make it. So moving on to the T perspective of the map, this is where you spawn in this area. And then you go towards A. You have to run all the way this way to this little square. And you finally get to elbow, where the CTs already beat you probably 3 or 4 seconds ago. So it's going to be very difficult. I think that you're going to have to move very slowly on this part of the map. And you're going to have to be a little bit quicker, and the majority is going to be towards B. And this is a very long pathway to get towards A as well. And there's a lot of different spots that you have to clear. So I don't think it's going to be possible to do any A rushes. Rushing mid from this elbow is almost impossible in my opinion. For A in general, I think that most teams are not going to have a lot of success, at least in pugs and MMs, getting A control. I think that there's just a lot of angles to clear out here. They're going to have to clear out this whole A main area. There's a million cubbies everywhere in here. I think that they might need to tone down on the amount of cubbies and hard angles that you have to clear. This isn't Valorant. You don't have drones and dogs to follow. So I think they need to keep that in mind. And there's just a lot of difficult angles coming out here. You have this one. You have this one. You have this deeper angle here. You have this one here. You have anything up here. You have another one behind this box. You can hide behind this box. It's just way too much at A. And even if you wanted to split it, which I think that to have any success on this map, you're going to have to split the bomb sites. Look at how many cubbies are in this square area. There's just so many. Like, maybe he's holding an off angle here. Maybe he's waiting for you to come through. There's just so many. And even when you're in the site, you come out and there's just so much stuff everywhere. You're going to have to smoke out this temple. I didn't even start theory crafting how you're supposed to approach this site because I think it's just so much. So when you go towards B as a T, you're coming up here. You have a very open skybox. You can throw pretty much anything. You can molly back off the CTs and just run through here. And you can get to lane pretty easily. I think you'll also be susceptible to some type of spams. Maybe they'll be like spamming if they know that you like to run up. That pretty much shows the majority of this map. I think that it's going to be a very slow-paced map where the CTs are going to have a lot of control and the Ts are going to really struggle to fight for it. I think that their main objective is going to be to waiting out utility, getting mid control slowly. Probably majority is going to be coming through B, and it's going to be some heavy B executes. I think that it's going to be hard for the CTs to really hold unless they're pushed up, and they'll probably have to fight for some part of the map. Maybe they play like majority like in this area. There's just so many spots for them to clear. This is spammable here too, so maybe as the T's are coming up, they could spam this wall if they know that they're playing in cave. For B after plants, I think that it'll be very strong to come up square here and just push this whole backside. So closing thoughts on this map, I think that there's a lot of cubbies that they're going to have to make it a little bit easier or give a more advanced spawn point for the T's for them to get better positioning. I think A is going to be very difficult. I think they're going to have to move it a little bit, maybe lessen the amount of angles or make it a little bit wider in the back left. I'm not sure exactly how they should approach it. I think B looks pretty decent, actually. I'm kind of a fan of that area of the map, besides all the cubbies that they kind of have. I do think that Valve needs to work on the FPS optimization of the map. My computer's top of the line and still having a lot of FPS drops and getting under 200, 150. And if that's my case, I think that's going to be hard for a lot of people. So I think they really need to work on that. But overall, I'm really happy that Valve decided to add some type of new content to the game that's going to be something that competitive players can start working on rather than trying to optimize, just like a nade at a slightly different timing or a flash slightly different and things like that. Thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope that you guys liked my first impressions of this map, and I'm going to be coming out with more content soon. Stay tuned.